All right, so our development team has changed a little bit. We no longer have Austin, but what we have now is John, who, I'll get to that in a little bit, but basically it's myself and Ryan, we do the majority of the TopoDOT development now. John is going to be doing a little bit of TopoDOT development, but his main focus is going to be working on TopoShare and TopoShare Enterprise, along with David. So as we start building up the whole TCS process and start implementing a lot of changes into the TopoShare application, you'll be hearing a lot from John, and we'll see some exciting developments, which I'll be talking about here in a little bit. Now, at every TopoDOT users conference, we aim to equip you guys with a fresh set of tools and new workflows to enhance your productivity, and this year is no different. So as you go through your different classes, you're going to be learning a lot of new tools, not just from the last 2024.1 release, but with the upcoming 2024.2 release. And everybody should be running a beta here at the users conference. And it's going to be, again, fresh new content from that. Now, for anybody that wants to download that beta at their office, it's a very simple process. Basically, you can just start up your TopoDOT. You'll go into the settings tab in the ribbon, click Select Update Branch, and just switch that update branch over to beta. You'll click the Check for Updates button, and then it's going to download the same version that you guys are using here at the users conference on your machines. Okay. Now, for this presentation, I typically go through all of the recent changes, basically everything that's happened since the last talk until now. And then we'll also talk a little bit about what's coming out in the future. So one of my favorite changes that happened in that 2024 release was the improved support for the dark mode. Is there anybody here that actually utilizes the dark mode in MicroStation or knows how to set that up? Yeah. Yeah, it's great. If you're not using it, it's a lot easier on your eyes as you guys are sitting there and doing these projects and extracting. So definitely take advantage of it. If you didn't know it was there, it's built into MicroStation. You just go into the preferences and put a checkbox. And all of the new TopoDOT tools will have that sleek black interface instead of that bright white interface that kind of makes your eyes bleed a little bit. Also in the 2024 release was the new point cloud engine. Now you guys have already started using it a little bit here in the classes and possibly back at your office. So the new point cloud engine basically supports a lot higher point density, as well as some new display styles like outlining the objects in the point cloud data, which, let me see, there should be a video here. I think I can play it. There we go. So in this particular video, you can see that just the legacy engine that you guys used previously, the new engine, a lot higher point density. The element priority mode, which is really cool. It pops all those elements out in the front of the point cloud so they're easier to see. And then that outline point mode just kind of lets you see a lot of the different features a lot easier instead of trying to compete with the intensities there behind it. So very cool. Now, the performance for that point cloud engine does depend on your particular machine, particularly the CPU of the machine. So if you guys are running older hardware, it might be time for an upgrade. You should be getting, with current hardware, somewhere around 45 million points displayed on the screen at one point, compared to the old engine, which was around 3 to 5 million before things started getting a little clunky. Okay. So there we go. The other new feature was the sidewalk extraction tool. I think you guys might have done a class on that already, but the sidewalk extraction tool allows users to draft sidewalks without the hassle of obscured edges. And I can guarantee you guys have probably run into that case before, where you're scanning from the one side and you've got the one edge of the sidewalk that's completely, missing data. So we were trying to solve that, and the way we came up with is by basically going through there and fitting a plane to the center of the sidewalk, and using that plane to determine where the elevation of that obscured area should be. So the tool is very simple. You just use the purple preview lines there and that purple circle to help you position that sidewalk at the proper location. That green circle there is where it's going to be calculating the plane. And you can adjust the width of that sidewalk by using the up and down keys on your keyboard. And then once that's done, it's going to go ahead and plot those elements. And then it also supports functionality like snapping to itself. So you'll see there it just kind of goes in there and snaps it and continues on. And then for areas where you have the sidewalks kind of branching off, which we'll jump to here in a second, the tool also supports, let's get through that here. There we go. So this tool also supports basically going in there. If you notice, you make those purple lines intersect, and what it's going to do is it's going to automatically adjust your line work and connect everything where it needs to. So very neat tool, seems to be very popular. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. All right, so classification cleanup has also been made a lot easier with the last release. Particularly with the classification brush tool that was released, as well as the classification by line. The new things here with that particular tool is it lets you lock classifications that you don't want to modify. In this case, they lock the ground classification, and then you just use that little wand or that little circle and just kind of brush over the areas that need classified. Very intuitive, very easy to use, and hopefully you guys like that. The tunnel variance analysis tool is also one of our newer tools there, and enables you to process design profiles and compare them against as-built geometry, allowing deviation checks. And then it takes that information and generates reports based off of those values and provides insight for tunnel construction and highlights any sort of discrepancies there in the tunnel. All right, now, one of the newer releases here, or the newer tools, has been the encroachment report tool. So this tool basically goes through your particular data. If you've got, say, a center line there, and it's going to locate any of those areas that have been classified as encroachment, and it's going to generate a sheet for each one of those encroaching objects, where it's going to measure the vertical and the horizontal clearance. It's also going to pull up a image, or the closest image for that area, pull it into the sheet for you, showing the measurements as well. Now, all of these sheets are also very dynamic, so you can take any part of the measurements that it's calculating, put it in your particular sheet template, and customize it however you want. So it's a very cool system, and we're going to try and implement that same dynamic sheet creation into some of the other tools as well as we move forward. So vehicles have been like a pain in the butt here in point cloud data for a long time. So we added a tool in here for basically removing or classifying any sort of moving objects inside of the point cloud data. The process is very simple. You basically just, well, first you want to classify the ground and assets and whatnot. Then you just click the button, and it's going to find areas of the data that's only have like a single pass or maybe 2 passes of data if you did like maybe 6 passes in there. And it removes those or classifies those particular data points. So the idea is if an object is moving, you're not going to hit it from multiple passes or multiple collections, right? But you're going to hit a sign or you're going to hit a tree, and all those passes are multiple passes. The change detection tool that we added can be used to detect changes in the environment over time. This can be used for a variety of applications, such as disaster response, forestry management, or urban planning. And again, the process is simple. You select your baseline point cloud file and your comparison point cloud file. You select how you want to plot those results. And in this particular case, the green squares that we're looking at is missing data. So, and then the blue squares are new data. So stuff that's popped up, maybe a new sign that's been added there to the road. Now getting into the new features here, the brake line extraction is going to be the big guy, and you guys might have seen a little bit of it yesterday, but you're going to be going into the more in-depth classes, I think, at some point today. So let me go ahead and play that. So this new brake line tool has a lot of enhancements over its predecessor, such as the ability to create a path dynamically, which is what we're doing here. So rather than having to go through there and actually draw a microstation element, run the tool, and then go back and delete that element, you just go into top view now, outline that area, and say, go. And then at the end, it automatically gets rid of it. So I don't think we went a little too far there, but the tool also has that elevation adjustment tool kind of built into it. And then if whatever reason the template doesn't fit correctly, it's easy to get back on track. You just drag things where it needs to go. Except you can see everything that's happening there on that elevation view. You can adjust your current cross-section and move where the edge of that ramp is. And then you can insert the bottoms of the ramp by holding down the Alt key, and everything goes where it needs to go. The image is pulled in for you automatically, and it centers now based off of where you're currently extracting rather than just pulling up the entire big image and you have to zoom in manually. And then you just continue on. So there's a lot of other enhancements in this tool as well, such as the support of having multiple templates running at the same time. It's not shown in this particular video, but you guys will run into it into your class today. So it's definitely a huge change over the last one, so make sure you guys are actually go into that class and learning it. Now, we did also keep the old legacy brake line extraction tool in the new release, just so that you guys have that transition period and don't update and have to utilize this whole new process. But I'm hoping over time that we kind of wean off of that legacy brake line tool and start learning that new one, and we can get rid of that old one. So do try and transition over to this newer version. Now, some of the future plans here, one of our biggest focuses, like I mentioned, is going to be the revamp of the TopoShare experience for both the administrators and the clients or the users of the data. Phase one of the TopoShare revamp is going to see a variety of changes to the UI and permissions as well. So basically, changes such as the directory navigation and filtering. We're going to add support for user groups, permission groups, customizable permissions, where you're going to have a lot of different settings, and therefore who can access the data, who can download the data, who can modify projects, and all sorts of stuff. We're going to have improvements to how you can search for these particular projects, especially as you start getting into the hundreds or thousands of projects that you guys are uploading there. Searchability is important. And also, like I mentioned, being able to subcategorize those projects into directories. And then also a project upload queue. And there's going to be a ton more of improvements. I can't go into all of them here, but we do expect phase one of this revamp to release very early in the first quarter of 2025. The second phase is a little bit more interesting, and that's where we're going to be including a new task management system, which is going to allow for better management of the project lifecycle for you guys. So as an administrator, you're going to have the ability to assign data and tasks to your employees or individual users. You'll be able to see project status in real time. Basically, TopoDOT users or your employees will be able to see the work in the regions or tiles that are assigned to them, and they'll be able to update their project status. And basically, it's best part of all, it's all going to be fully integrated inside of the TopoDOT process. All right? So as we get closer to 2025, we hope to be able to give you a little bit more information about when it's going to be available. It's still a little bit too early on to give you that information, but I think it's going to be a huge improvement for you guys and how you guys are managing your team. So, and then finally, we are working on a new rail tamping tool that's going to generate the necessary files for tamping machines. Basically, our aim there is to boost track maintenance, precision, and efficiency, and it's going to be part of our rail tool suite that we're trying to develop on. So that's it. So any questions or comments? What do you guys think of the task management? Is that something you guys think is going to be useful for you guys, or yeah?
Enthusiasm back there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is that workflow progress based on the amount of line work in an area, or do people, you said people manually just say, oh, I'm 10% done?
So it's going to be more of a task-based system. So you might assign something like, extract curbs and then extract assets and extract trees or something like that. So each one of those are going to be separate tasks. The user would then say, okay, I'm done with my curbs. I'll mark that as finished, and it's going to automatically calculate the percentages for you. And then there'll be an overall percentage based off of all of your tiles, how many tiles are complete, and all that. So.
So just a comment, the direction that you're going with the automatic sheet generation is going to help us out so much.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah, everything's been static in the past, and it's been difficult for people to customize. So this new approach, I think, is going to help a lot. Cool. Anything else?
Chance. You don't see them often.
Yep.
Yeah, your vision with the construction management moving forward, I think, is excellent. I do a lot of construction work, and more than just collecting and see the progress. What they're also looking is the QA/QC and quality control. Are the curves in the correct areas? Are the cross slopes correct? It was also with the design, and chips and seals, and a lot of accuracy. A lot of the work right now is going in and when a contractor's doing a lot more work in our area, they're doing the surveying themselves, trying to save money, and making a lot more errors, a lot faster, a lot bigger. And we have to come in and help us a lot, and then identify those areas, put them back on track, and move forward. So I can see where those types of tools are to be integrated in the construction process.
For sure, yeah.
Can I ask you, why do you think the contractors are going in and doing it themselves? You said they were trying to save money.
Yeah, we're in Northeast New York, and we're very seasonal, so we're very quick.
we got to get over to the next class. I think they're starting now. So thanks, everybody. Yep.